Gentlemen, what's going on? 1247 the Great One, man. Had to come at you guys with two videos. Just watching the crew season. KREW season. Crew season. I'm just watching the last video they just put out a couple days ago, last week. Talk about some who's to blame in 2021 for failed relationships. And shout out to my man Poor Man's Podcast and Lapeef, and two other brothers. I know the crew. I think they're part of the crew season. Those two other brothers and Poor Man's Podcast and Lapeef Network. And the thing that I'm seeing about so-called black men and so-called black women is, listen, the way that we communicate. We don't communicate for understanding. We communicate. It's like a competition. For some reason it's like when American black women and American black men communicate, it's always competitive. Like, I'm just watching the dialogue between like 4 men and 4 women. I'm just watching the dialogue. One sister, she was cute. She was kind of, she was cute. She was understanding. She was listening and things of that nature. But the other 3, listen, I'll tell you this right now, gentlemen, listen. This is my opinion. This so-called black love, I think it's dead. I think black love in the so-called American black community, between so-called American black women and American black men, I believe is done. It's done. I believe it's done. I just don't see how us as men and them as women. I don't see us. I don't see a kumbaya coming back together, building families and all that stuff. I don't see that happening. I believe that so-called American black love is dead. I believe it's done. This is just my opinion, and it's just watching the dialogue. It's like, listen, it's like when so-called American black men and American black women communicate, it's not even for understanding. And I'm not pointing the finger at, it's all the women's fault, this, that. I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. It's just we can't communicate. And the communication between the so-called, sorry about that, the black woman and black man, I think is getting worse. I think the communication between the so-called the American black man and American black woman is getting worse. And I don't. To me, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I believe the black love is dead, man. Black love is dead. It might have been dead years ago. I'm just saying in 2022, I believe black love is dead. It's just watching just a simple dialogue turn into it's weird, because it's just like when I see these brothers trying to speak to these women, it just reminds me of my relationship. We can't. How can I say this? When you, I shouldn't say it like that, but nah, I'm gonna say it like this. It's like, as men, we are builders, but as women, she's supposed to be, the helpmate, right? But see, in American black community, we're builders, and the women are our competitors. Because it's like it seems to me, this of course is anecdotal, that everything that both black women and black men do is to compete against each other. But at the same time, we're losing in the big picture. Versus, if we're competing, say we're competing against everybody else, we're so much at odds with each other that we don't see that we're losing against everybody else. This is why I say if you guys go to the CDC and look at what other races of men and women make compared to what we make per month, it's like, listen, we're like $400 or $500 behind. Like I told you last, guys go check out the CDC. I mean, African American men making like basically $800. African American woman, she's like $740 something. So it was really no money, right? Really no money. But compared to like the Asian men, Asian women, listen, we're like $500-$600 a month. We're $500-$600 behind compared to what they make. But the thing is, we so focused on trying to one up each other that we're losing in the long run. This is why I say, to me, black love, American black love. Oh boy, what are you doing? Anyways, I believe American black love is just dead. I don't see American black love, I don't see black American love coming back. I believe it's dead. And the dialogue is further. It's just reiterating what I'm thinking. Like, listen, American black love is a wrap, man. Like, listen, men and women in the so-called black community can't even communicate with each other without it turning to some type of argument, some type of competitive. It's always just competitive. You know, we're always competing against each other. We're always trying to one up on each other. But in the long run, we're losing. But it doesn't matter as long as I beat her, and as long as I beat her, and she in her mind she beats me, then it's all good. This is why I say I believe that American black love is dead. It's done. I think it's been dead for a long time. I think right now, probably since the 80s, 70s, the last 40, 50 years, we have just been tolerating each other. But as far as the love and building and coming together and all that stuff, that's been dead. And I don't think that's going to come back anytime soon. But yeah, it's just the dialogue. It's just like we just can't have basic conversations. Just trying to. You have a top. It's crazy because I'm watching. Once again, you guys go back and watch the cruise season. It's called the cruise season, and they did a video about like 10 days ago talking about who's to blame for failed relationships in 2021. And man, let me tell you something. It's just, listen, these women, like, sisters, I don't understand. You guys got so much masculine energy. It's unbelievable right now. It's like I'm looking at a female version of me. It's like a lot of times I see you sisters, I see a female version of a man. Only thing is different is just you have two breasts and a vagina. But a lot of you women are just so masculine. It's just like, and you guys are not. The thing is, a lot of you women are not going to tone the masculinity down. And it's just, I just don't see how being in a relationship between the so-called black man and American black man, American black woman is going to be beneficial anymore. I just don't see it. Yeah, you can say it's sentimental reasons, but truthfully, I don't see how us being with y'all and y'all being with us is benefiting. I'm gonna be honest, I just don't see it. And I don't think it's, I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, whoever's in a relationship, yeah, good luck to y'all. But listen, as far as numbers is concerned, I mean, the marriage rate in the black community is like, is rock bottom right now. And it's going to get worse. Divorces is going up, and the single motherhood rate. Divorce rate is going up, and the single motherhood rate is going up. So I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't see the purpose of the so-called black love anymore. There's no love. there's no, if you can't even communicate, we can't even get to the love. And I just don't see. And the thing is, it's just having a basic foundation or basic, or just having a basic agreement on small things. It's, to me, in the so-called black community, turns into nuclear war. Turns into nuclear war. And to me, the mindset of these women, like I told you guys before in a couple of videos before, it goes back to the 1960s. Cushing versus Virginia. This is where, my bad. This is where a lot of these women get the mindset from. Goes back to the 60s when I told you guys before, Cushing versus Virginia, when brothers didn't correct that female from going up to the Supreme Court for being with the white man. To me, that was the ultimate disrespect that these women could. That was the ultimate disrespect. Like, to me, that was her way of saying, "Listen, it's a wrap. I'm done with you, so-called brothers." That law being changed was, to me, was the final straw for them. It's like, listen, we are done. We are separating from you, and we're getting the government to back us up. So what's happening now is it's just like we just been tolerating each other. But to me, the black man and black woman in America, in the so-called black community, it's getting more and more toxic. It's getting more and more toxic. It's getting more and more toxic. It's like, you know, like, I mean, it's to a point now. It's like, listen, it's like you ready to fight somebody. Like, you ready to fight these females, man. It's like you don't want to feel that way towards your so-called your own women, because women need to be protected, provided for, and things of that nature. And this is why a lot of brothers are going to a lot of these different women in these other different ethnicities and countries and things of that nature, because they provide the femininity to match with with their masculinity. Like, I don't listen. A masculine man and a masculine woman are not going to build anything. That's I mean, how you gonna have two masculine people? You're not going to build anything with two masculine people. These women are masculine. They're proud and independent, and I'm strong, this, that, and the third. And the thing is, I told you guys like a year or 2 years ago, listen, all that strong and independent stuff is for her. It's for her to show dominance over you in front of everybody else. See, the strong independence is to me, is the female's way of showing everybody else, every other race and ethnicity, that I have dominance over him. But when these women go out here to deal with other men, they don't say that strong and independent stuff to other men. They only say it to us, and which is cool. You know, it is what it is. But brothers, I'm just saying the whole black love and coming together, gentlemen, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think black love is dead in the so-called American black community. I think it's dead. I don't think it's coming back. Just we can't even have basic dialogue. Only 1 out of 3 of them women had an understanding of what the man was coming from. You know, I can't think what the brother name is. Very, very spoken. Wasn't brash. Wasn't harsh and things of that nature. And she was getting it. She was understanding, because he was just talking, just basic conversation. That's what a lot of brothers do. We just want to have a conversation with our women. Like, we don't. Everything doesn't have to be a World War III war. We don't have to war when we come to like basic conversations. This is what we keep telling you, sisters. Listen, we want to have a basic conversation about basic things. But basic things turn into a freaking civil war in your own house. It turns into a civil war because it's just, once again, going back to 1967. Going back to 1967. When them brothers didn't correct that female from going up to the Supreme Court hand in hand with her white man, that's when the permanent disrespect for the so-called American black man kicked in for these women. When brothers didn't correct her on that spot, because the conversations that we're having today should have happened back in '67. When that sister went up to the Supreme Court with the so-called white man, brothers should have shut it down. Listen, okay, cool. Since you went up there, that so-called white man, this, that, and the third, we're going through all this tumultuous times and the different things that's going on. Listen, you go your way and we go ours. This conversation should have happened like back in '67. But it's cool because it's happening today. And the thing is, a lot of you women are just not ready. Are just not ready for. The thing is, a lot of you women are all this assertiveness that you're seeing from the so-called American black man, sisters. You're not ready for it. You wasn't ready for this. You wasn't ready. You wasn't ready for the younger generation to be assertive and to have standards and things of that nature. I think you ladies really thought that you were going to run, what y'all did back in '67. You want to do this to us in the 2020s. You guys are going to run this until 2080. And yeah, brothers are putting a stop to it like right now. So a lot of you females weren't ready for brothers to have standards. This is why it's catching a lot of you women off guard. And oh my God, you got standards and blah blah blah. So you ladies weren't ready for this. I keep telling you that the millennial man is the reset man. It's the reset of the mindset. You ladies weren't ready for that. A lot of you ladies weren't ready, and you weren't ready for brothers to go to different lands and see other women. You ladies weren't ready. You thought that, hey, listen, I'm going to keep dominating him, and he's just going to keep taking the ladies. I told you guys, it's a different day and age. You got a whole different man. We're not like our grandfathers. All this, hey, listen, she can do whatever she want to do. I'm just going to sit there and take it. Listen, that type of man is done. Don't get me wrong. You might have majority of brothers that on that mindset, but some of us, we just not going to take it like that. But going back to the top, once again, I'm not here to point fingers. I'm just saying that the black love in the black community, it's a wrap, man. It's a wrap. We can't even have basic conversations. And me watching that on the crew season channel, shout out to them brothers and sisters, whoever's over there. Shout out to y'all. You guys are proving the point that the black love that y'all keep talking about is dead. There is no more black love. It's over. There is no more black love. And it's just coming more and more apparent that brothers are out here, they making moves. Brothers are out here making moves. And the thing is, you ladies are just not ready for brothers to be making these moves. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. Like, brothers are out here. Brothers, you women heard, decade after decade, brothers is tired of the masculine. Brothers is tired of just getting taking a crap on. Brothers is tired. But you women didn't care. Because it goes back to 1967 when brothers didn't deal with that the woman named Cushing. When the brothers didn't deal with that and that woman went to that Supreme Court, that permanently put in these women's minds that you niggas ain't shit. That permanently put in these women's minds back in 1967 that you niggas ain't shit. And 50 years later, we're doing what should have been done almost 55 years ago. But the men are saying in 2021, 2022, this should have been said almost 55 years ago. So now you ladies are scrambling and see what's going on and this, that, and the third. Listen, brothers have already said what they're going to do, and now they're moving out. They're executing now. We're not going to stand around, and we're not going to take this, and we're not going to take that. And instead of adjusting, coming back to the table, adjusting, it's just the guilt and the shame, and you man can't handle us, and you want to go over here with Becky, and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't, listen, all that stuff is, that's dead now. All that's dead. But yeah, gentlemen, I'm just going to be honest with you. Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with the so-called American black women and things of that nature. But as far as the black love piece, gentlemen, that's dead, bro. American black love is dead. and it's not coming back. It's been there for a long time. It's just, I think you men are finally play this. I think reality has finally hit you men, especially the younger generation. See, the younger generation has figured it out. Like, listen, these women have said what they said. They're not going to change. So guess what? We're going to move forward. See, the older generation of men, they still on, Temptations and My Girl and all this stuff, and please, that James Brown stuff. See, the older generation still want the so-called American black woman like that. See, the younger ones are like, listen, if we're not going to get the cooperation and the things that we desire, then we're just going to move about. We're just going to move about. The older generations, man, they still, oh yeah, hold the door, do this, and chivalry, and you men need to step your game up. See, once again, nobody's thinking. The younger generations, the millennial generation, and the Gen Z generation, they not thinking like that. These brothers, you just got a whole different crop of men right now. And I just don't think, these women were ready to make that adjustment. Adjustment. But going back to the top, gentlemen, yeah, black love is dead. Black love is dead. It's dead. And the thing is, I think the more we are around each other, I think the more toxic these situations are going to get. Because I'm just not seeing the love right now in the so-called American black community between the man and woman. I'm just not seeing that love at all. I think the more we get around each other, the more irritable we're getting, the more volatile we're getting, the more aggressive we're getting, and it's and I know a lot of I see a lot of women getting frustrated, and brothers ain't sticking around, this, that, and the third. But ladies, I mean, for decades we told you what was going to happen, and it's taken it to, in 2020, that's when it really started kicking in, the manosphere. And then when, like I said before, a couple of videos before, when SYSBN came out, then it was like, then the light bulb came off. Oh snap, save yourself, black man. Oh snap. Then brothers are getting really serious. When brothers came out, shout out to Mad Bushard when he came out with the SYSBN, brothers save yourself. Yeah, then people started getting like, oh, I think these men are starting to get serious now. But yeah, gentlemen, black love is dead, bro. Black love is dead. It's just the rise. Listen, the rise of single. And the thing is, yeah, we having sex with each other, but there's no families being formed. Families are, listen, WAP, and the WAP culture, the whore culture is what's being praised right now. Single independent woman is being praised right now in the so-called American black community. It is, it's okay. Being a wife is not being praised right now. Matter of fact, if you're talking about, listen, I want to take care of my man, I want to do this for my man, you're called a pick-me. So that goes to show you that the wife is being demonized, but the whore is being praised. That's how I see it. Being a wife is called it's a pick-me. Oh, me, I fix my husband a sandwich, or I'm catering to him, make sure he does this and that and the third. Gentlemen, listen, to these women nowadays, let's leave it to Beaver. Listen, girl, you know how to slave to him and let him fix his own sandwich. See, this is what I'm saying, gentlemen. If you can't just get the basic cooperation from your so-called women, gentlemen, there is no black love. And like I said last year, 2 years ago, and there's really no black community. That's what it comes down to. Before you can have the community starts with a man connecting himself with a woman. If that woman does not want to connect herself to you, gentlemen, you don't have a community. If these women want to be by themselves, they want to be WAP and strong and independent, gentlemen, that black community and the black love, it's a wrap. It's over. Black love is over. Black community is over. It's been over. I said the 60s it was over. So gentlemen, listen, you can you gotta now some of you brothers might disagree, and that's okay. And listen, I'm not here to, you can call me Uncle Tom, you call me whatever you want to, coon and this, that, and the third. I don't really care. I'm just listen, I'm going by statistics and I'm going by what I'm seeing. If we can't have basic communications, there is no love. If females rather be strong and independent and buy themselves a boss chick, and I got the WAP and hot girl summer, all this, if all this is being praised, gentlemen, there's no love and there really is no community. So you gentlemen gonna have to make up your mind what you're gonna do, because these women have already told you what they've been doing. And if you gentlemen sticking around after what all they have said, that what they're going to do and what they're going to continuously keep doing, gentlemen, that shows weakness in you. These women have already told you what they're going to do, and they're executing every single day. And you gentlemen sitting around waiting on her to come back to you, gentlemen, that shows the weakness in you. But that goes back to the 80-20 I was talking about. Only 20% of brothers are going to make that move, get the epiphany and roll out, and 80% of y'all are going to be waiting around for 80% of y'all are going to be waiting around for Keisha and them. 80% of men in the so-called American Black community are still going to be waiting around for Keisha, and 20% are going to roll out. But the thing is, the women, see the 20% that's rolling out, see the women want them. They don't want the 80%. Anyways, man, like I said, gentlemen, going back to the top, gentlemen, black love is dead. 12 of them. I'm just once again, I'm going by the statistics. I'm going by the rise. I mean, the 80, what's it, like 78, 80% single motherhood rate? So that strong and independent, these women are taken seriously, gentlemen. Being strong and independent, these women are taking to heart. They're taking it seriously. The so-called American Black community belongs to them. You're not a part of the Black community. I told you guys that a year or two ago. The so-called matriarch Black community belongs to them. It don't belong to you. You're being used, but the American matriarch Black community belongs to the women, not to the man. So, gentlemen, these women have made their choice. You're obsolete now. I don't understand why you sticking around. We can't have basic communication. Like, come on, gentlemen, we got to move forward. We got to move forward. Got to move forward. These women have made the choice, and you got to respect it, and you got to move forward. We're not like our grandfathers, or great grandfathers, and then we're just gonna man up, and we do more manly stuff. They're gonna come around. No, gentlemen, that's no. And we've been doing that, and what has been happening? Nothing. You gentlemen are not getting any better. These women are not getting any better. Things are just getting worse. Things are just getting worse. But anyways, gentlemen, that's all I gotta say. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.